Hello, my name is Harry from FPLFA, and today I'll be bringing to you the FPL Graduates Knockout Cup Group Stage Draw. We've already had a qualifying round which saw 34 players playing 17 two-legged knockout ties, which means 17 players have already exited the competition, including Ben Brown, who is on the left of your screen right now, and he is one of the two faces behind the FPL Graduates. The FPL Graduates have amassed over 50,000 followers on TikTok by posting entertaining updates on FPL. Their links will be below this video if you want to see more. I'm quickly going to give you a recap of the qualifying round I mentioned briefly before. We had some really entertaining ties, particularly Ben Jackson and Ben Brown, and John Pinto and Adam Reek, which are on the right side of your screen. Both ties were decided by a single point. Aldan Upton and Sam Meek, who are the tie above that, their tie was really high scoring, so Aldan scored 146 points, Sam Meek 144, so Aldan edged it by just 2 points. Before the draw starts, I just want to explain a little bit more about the competition and what we do here at FPLFA. We give the FPL community a chance to win cash prizes through playing FPL. We have a paid league this season which was £15 to enter and has a prize pool of £1,000, and each month we give £15 prize to whoever wins Manager of the Month, which is determined by who scores the most FPL points in one calendar month. This cup competition, however, is the first of 3 that will take place this season, all with an entry fee of £2 and a prize pool of at least £200. For more information, head to our website fplfa.com. But without further ado, let's focus on this cup draw. 81 players paid to enter this competition, but in order for it to run smoothly, we needed 64 players for the group stage, hence the 17 qualifying ties, and on screen are the very lucky 47 players who received a bye straight into the group stage. The draw is very simple, 64 players are in the hat, they'll all be drawn at random. By the end of it, we will have 16 groups of 4. All players will play each other in their group once. The top 2 players in each group will progress into the knockout round, and the first name out going into Group A is Nick Richards. Joining Nick in Group A is number 2, that is Adam Reek. He of course is the person who beat John Pinto by a single point in the qualifying round. And joining those 2 names is number 58, that is Sam Sheepy. Now in our last cup competition of last season, he was the champion. He topped the data league as well, which I'll explain in a sec. He is the favourite based on last season. And finally, completing Group A is Kian Scullion, who is a new name. He has never played with us, so welcome Kian. Now, Group B, the first name out here is Charlotte Summers. Now, I mentioned before about a data league, but what I mean about this is the FPLFA Invitational League that some of you may have seen on the official FPL app. Now, Charlotte Summers, she is second bottom of our data league. She is 95th out of 96 players who are in it at the minute. Connor Sykes, who's a name come out there, he is 56th in our data league. Ashton Bullock, he is 80th in our data league. And the final name out in Group B is going to be number 22, that is Duncan McPhail, and if I just have a look here, he is 62nd in our data league. So 2 of those 4 players are going to be into the knockout rounds, which just shows you don't have to be top of our data league in order to have a chance in this competition. Coming out now in Group C is Harry Clayton, which is of course myself. I've got off to a good start this year, based on other years. I've got off to a good start this year, I'm doing alright. Joining me in Group C is Chris Durkin. Now, he went out in the group stage in the last cup. So, like I mentioned before, we do 3 cups a season. In our third cup of last season, Chris Durkin played with us, and he went out in a group stage. So, he'll want to go one better at least this season. And to do that, he'll have to beat me and Ollie Lear and number 41, Julian Jones. Now, Julian Jones, unfortunately for him, he had the pleasure of playing Sam Sheepy in the qualifying round of our last cup of last season. Sam Sheepy, of course, went on to win it. Now, Group D is, the first name out there is Tom Eley, number 62. He played with us a bit last season, so it's good to see him returning. The next name, 60, Steve MacArthur. Now, at the time of recording this, he is currently sitting 9th in our paid league. So, our paid league was £15 to enter at the start of the season. It's got a prize pool of £1,000. I think the top 5 places in the paid league will win some money, so he's not too far off those money places at the minute. Joining him in Group D is Jack Walter and number 28, George Baker. So that's Jack and George, again, 2 new players with us. It's good to see you here. Now, we'll move on to Group E then. So first name out there, number 36, that is Joe Prince. He is 23rd in our data league, which I spoke about. Our data league is comprised of people who play in our free league, our paid league, and these cup competitions. On the official FPL app, it is called FPLFA Invitational League, just to avoid any confusion. We've had Ewan Law come out. He finished bottom of Group F in the last cup with 0 points. We've got David Mundy, number 21, who might possibly have the best FPL name I have seen. His name's Monday Night Football. I really like that. And number 55, it's Omri Gunda, who was last year's paid league champion. Now, anyone who has to play against Henry, they're in for a tough game because he takes this very seriously. Moving on to Group F then, we've got Darren Mockton. Darren will be joined with, if we just wait for that number to go there, number 4. Now number 4 is Aidan Williams. He lost in the qualifying round in the last cup. And then the next name coming out in Group F is number 47, which is Leon Cummings. So again, Group F, it's not looking too competitive. Anyone could go through at this point. Oh, but here we go. We've got number 57 here. Now 57 is Richard Cordron. He was knocked out in the last 16 of our last cup, and he is currently, at the time of recording, sitting in 10th in our paid league. Now we move on to Group G then. First name out here is number 27. That's Gary Connaughton. I'm not quite sure how you say that. I think Connaughton maybe. That's a tough thing about putting yourself forward to do these commentaries of these cup draws or hosting these cup draws. You've got to pronounce all the names. I think we've got David Dibble there. It can't be David Dibble, can it? It's got to be David Dibble. Number 7 then, Alex Arblaster. Now he is currently sitting 5th in the paid league. So if the season were to stop now, he would be taking home £40, having only paid £15 to enter. Now that is pretty good to me, especially for just playing an FPL game. The last name that came out in Group G there was Andrew Walker. As we move on to Group H, the first name coming out here is Jonty Bregazzi. I usually think I'm all right at pronouncing names, but I tell you what, this is making me have to rethink that. 29 then, George Derbyshire. He's the next one out. He played with us a bit last season. The next name coming out is number 23, Eric McGee. So Group H at the minute is Jonty Bregazzi, George Derbyshire, Eric McGee, and the last name coming out in Group H is Izzy Vittoria, who's doing pretty well, I think. Obviously, we do a Manager of the Month competition I spoke about. So in the month of September, which we're currently in, everyone in the data league I mentioned, whoever scores the most points in that calendar month alone, will win £15. Wow, they have to be in our paid league actually, sorry. But anyway, moving on, we've got Lee Norris coming out. He is 7th in our paid league at the minute, and he will be joined by Nicholas Mavrogalos, who is 8th in our paid league. I think I nailed that pronunciation there. So we've got 2 players in the paid league coming out there, Lee Norris and Nicholas. Number 44, Kyler van der Toorn. What a name that is. He is the 3rd name out in Group I. And number 1, that is FPL Nima on Twitter. He's got a few thousand followers, and he is currently sitting top of our paid league. So Group I already, I'm here, I'm tipping it as the group of death. We've got 3 players all in the top 10 of our paid league. We move on to Group J then, and the first name out there is Jack Smith. He played with us last season, so again, it's a familiar name. It's good to see. It's good to see both new players coming to play with us. Hopefully you enjoy your time playing with us. But it's also, it's really nice to look at old names that we've seen play with us before, as it means they're coming back. We must be doing something right. We got Lee MacArthur there as well, joining Rex Budd and Jack Smith in Group J. All of those have all played with us before last season, and number 6 to finish Group J is Alex Johnson, who in our last cup competition finished rock bottom of Group K, so hopefully he gets some points on the board this time round. Talking about Group K, the first name out in this cup's Group K is Aldan Upton. Now he of course is the one who defeated Sam Meek by 2 points in the qualifier, scoring 146 points over 2 game weeks, which is actually very, very impressive. It's important to note the reason why the qualifier was over 2 legs is because this competition was £2 to enter. We didn't want people paying £2 to enter to then be knocked out after 1 game, so we made it over 2 legs just so people were paying £2 and still getting 2 games from it. So the other names out in Group K are Katie Yao, or otherwise known as @FFTitan on Twitter. We've got Jacob Whittingham, who was top of our paid league for the first few weeks of the season, and there was Chris Simpson there, who we've just missed. We're now on to Group L. The first name out here is Theo Adams. Just quickly, this group stage will be played over 3 game weeks, game weeks 6, 7 and 8. There's a full breakdown of the rules on all of our socials, so FPLFA on Facebook and Instagram, @official FPLFA on Twitter, and of course just FPLFA.com for our website. So after Theo Adams is Ben Jackson. Now Ben Jackson knocked out our sponsor Ben Brown in the qualifier by a point. We've got Ido Kleiner. I'm unsure if that's how you say it, but that's how I am saying it, Ido Kleiner. And to finish Group L is Zach Norris, number 64. We're now on to Group M. The first name out in Group M is number 12, and that's Ben Walker. He finished 11th in our paid league last season. We've then got number 18, which is Dan Jones. He again played with us last season, so it's good to see you back, Dan. I'm not sure how well you did in our cups last season, but hopefully you'll do well this time out. You'll be facing Charlie Catchpole as well. I believe he went out in the qualifier of our last cup, unfortunately for him. Again, the qualifier of our last cup was 2 legs as well, so that's something we're going to do going forward for sure. Any qualifier will be over 2 legs. And to finish Group M is Josh Griesel, who is currently up in 4th in our paid league. So if this season were to end now and he were to finish in 4th, he would go home with £80, having only paid £15 to enter. The first name in Group N is FPLFA Dave. Now there are 4 of us here at FPLFA. There is myself, there is Dave, who's just come out there. We've got Will Easton joining him in Group N. He's a losing finalist twice. Oh, and here's Ollie Walker. So he's another person who is part of the FPLFA team. So it's me, Dave, Ollie, and who else is going to be joining him? We've got Gareth Clark, number 26. And that completes us, FPLFA. He is the 4th member of the FPLFA team. So 3 of them are all in one group with Will Easton, and only 2 can go through. I think the furthest any of us got in the last cup was Dave, who got to the last 32 and then got knocked out. We've then got Joshua Scott coming out, first name in Group O. He is our other sponsor, so we had Ben Brown from the FPL Graduates. Josh Scott is the other one from FPL Graduates. So he's done a bit better than Ben, and I think he just got a bye straight through into the group stage. So he's done better than his mate without even playing a game. So joining him in Group O is Joel Hutama and Max Morris, and the final one is Andreas Chorjem, who is 28th in the data league, and I just know I have done that horribly, that pronunciation, so I apologise for that. Coming out in Group P is Mark Muck now. Or Mark Muck. Honestly, I'm struggling here. We get the names just from how you enter when you sign up to our website. That is where we get the names from. So if we've got lower cases, that's because you use lower cases when you signed up to our website. So that's where we get that from, if anyone is wondering. Joining Mark Muck in Group P, we have Scott Rolfe and Albie Egerton. Now, Albie played with us last season. He was knocked out of our last cup in the round of 32 or last 32 should I say, by Jacob Whittingham. And finally, coming out in Group P is Mark Clayton, who is of course my dad. So that concludes the group stage draw. We'll just have a little recap here. So here's groups A to H. The one to look out for, I remember pointing out, didn't I? Group I. Group I is the group of death, in my opinion. We got Lee Norris, who is up there in the top 10 of our paid league, along with Nicholas Mavrogalos, and Nima. Nima is top of our paid league, and there's poor old Kyler van der Torm there in there as well. So ties to be played, like I mentioned before, on game week 6, 7 and 8. You can track your progress on our website. We'll only be posting a few results on our socials. So if you want to be sure on how you're doing, head over to our website. We're just fplfa.com. And yeah, thank you and good luck.